All right, Hen. 2018 Boyers NBA draft redraft. Who you got first overall?
Phoenix does the right thing and takes Luka Doncic.
It's the right thing.
Obvious, right?
It's the
Very
right thing.
easy, very chalky. It's almost as easy as the 2017 draft. Some would even say maybe easier. Actually, it's not as easy. It's not as easy. The guys after Luka are definitely better than the guys after Tatum.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. 2 to Sacramento. A guy who's knocking on the door. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander goes to Sacramento. Really good player. Who knows? Maybe in a year or two, if we did this again, maybe Shai goes before Luka. But at this point, it's going to be hard to consistently do what Luka has done.
Yeah.
But Shai, really, really good. Again, this draft, for context to me, and we'll see if the viewers and the listeners agree, very top heavy. Because after like the next pick, things start to get a little bit worse. And then they really take a dive from there.
I'm 3 and 4 is very difficult for me. I'm not going to lie. Like 3, I'm struggling between these two. And I don't think most people would agree. But I am going to go with Jalen Brunson just because he was a top 5 MVP candidate last year. I assume you probably, who I know you have it for, I'm not going to say his name, but they're relatively close in terms of as players. But I think Brunson right now just he's got a better aura about him, honestly. And
he's got the stuff, dude. He's cooking with the sauce, you know? Like, it's sorry, Trey, you're 4. So Trae Young goes to Memphis 4th. Trey's good. For sure. Trey didn't get dealt this offseason. We all thought he would, but he's still in Atlanta.
They traded DeJounte instead.
Yep. Trey's still in Atlanta. Really good player. I think it's funny looking back on like the Luka versus Trey debate, and there's now a clear winner. For a couple of seasons, it was like both teams are winners. I would argue now there's a winner and not a loser, but there's just a less winner.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. If the 10th pick that the Hawks got in that trade was not Cam Reddish and an actual like valuable player for Atlanta instead, maybe we're having a different conversation. But unfortunately, that was who they took. So number 5, similarly, 1 through 4, we all have the same. I think 5's pretty easy as well. Jaren Jackson Jr. Won a Defensive Player of the Year. This was a weird Dallas team, by the way. Like the pre-Luka Dallas was just, they are so lucky they got him, man. They were in the freaking gutter. They were very
Jordan,
lucky. The whole DeAndre Jordan situation. Yeah, it was gross. It was really gross. And they're very, very, very lucky that they got Luka.
Agreed. 6, Orlando Magic, Mikal Bridges. Yeah, I mean, Mikal Bridges, people out there love Mikal Bridges. Like he's got some good people working for him on Twitter. Like I've seen a lot of Knicks people being like, this is the guy that's going to stop the Celtics. And I forgot how slow his jump shot is. I mean,
Did
Derek
you
White.
See that video going around?
Dude, Derek White is going to literally send that shit flying. Like he is just like that shit is absolutely going to go flying. Henry has left his post. I'm assuming his cats are doing something crazy. But yeah, Mikal Bridges to Orlando.
My laptop.
Yeah, Mikal Bridges to Orlando with the 6th pick. I actually think like with how Orlando plays, they could use a Mikal Bridges player. They need a little more zest over there, a little more pizzazz. That team is just running at the wall till it breaks. So
yeah.
So I have Mikal Bridges 6th. I will say this as we get into the next half of the lottery. This was a free for all. This is just like grab your groceries, go to work. There's a lot of ways you could go here. Recency bias definitely did me in on some of these picks, I'm just going to say.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think 7, in my opinion, is pretty obvious, but then after 7, it's a complete crapshoot to me. Because 7th, I have Michael Porter Jr. He's a mercurial player. He's not worth his contract, that's for sure. He does a lot of podcasting now, but he's a 6'10", 40+% three-point shooter who has improved a lot as a defensive player and is an underrated rebounder. I have him, in the 60 to 80 range in the best players in the NBA, which is where he belongs. And I just think Maybe some of the guys below him have either peaked higher or could still peak higher. But he's just really consistent, man. He's just really consistently an excellent shooting wing, and those are an incredibly valuable asset.
I don't have Michael Porter Jr. going 7th.
Oh,
Eighth, though, guy stays where he went. That's Colin Sexton. I think we forget about Colin Sexton. I think Colin Sexton's a good basketball player. I think he had some really nice years in Cleveland, and they traded him in for Donovan Mitchell, which was the right move in hindsight. But Sexton's a good player. He in the right situation, could really thrive. So I kept Sexton going to Cleveland.
who do you have at 7 then? Oh, no. Is it who I think it is?
Who do you think I took? I'll give you a hint.
Oh my! No, that's not who I was thinking. That's not. Who
Yeah,
I
took
thinking.
DiVincenzo 7th because I think he's going to keep getting better. And honestly, I say this with confidence. There are 6 guys in the DiVincenzo weight class and play class, in my opinion. I just like him. I think he's good, man. I think he's gotten really good. Because again, and this is the thing about recency bias, because I have Michael Porter Jr., just for spoiler alert, going 9th to the Knicks. But last year, I would have had Michael Porter Jr. above. I just am losing faith in Michael Porter Jr., and I'm gaining faith in my favorite Italian, Dante DiVincenzo, my own. So he went 7 to Chicago, Sexton to Cleveland, and I had Michael Porter Jr. going to the Knicks 9th.
That's interesting. That's
What do you got
really
9th?
Interesting. 9. So I had 7 Porter Jr. I had 8 Anthony Simons.
Ooh.
And then 9, I had Wendell Carter Jr. Interesting choice, right? I think Wendell Carter Jr. is good. Unfortunately, I think where he's at currently in Orlando is a pretty bad spot for him.
Yeah.
I would really like to see him on another team.
Yeah. He's Wendell Carter Jr. unfortunately got honorable mention by me. So.
Really?
Sorry,
Wow.
Wendell Carter Jr.
Wow.
So one guy beat him out, and I already regret it. I'm looking at the list. I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah. So I had Simons going 8 to Cleveland, and then I have Wendell Carter Jr. going 9. So who do you have 10?
This is where it starts to get messy, man. I was stuck between a few different guys. One guy's a criminal. One guy just sucks. One guy's Anthony Simons, and one guy is our favorite player from season 3. Chose none of those guys, and chose one of the villains of the league, and I took Grayson Allen.
Wow.
I went Grayson Allen of Philly because, trust me, Philly would do this. Philly absolutely would take Grayson Allen, and the city would just love him. Like, I know with certainty in a redraft, Grayson Allen goes 10th to Philly. Without a doubt.
Do we remember what Philly did with this pick?
They traded away Mikal Bridges.
They took Mikal Bridges, whose mom worked for the organization, and then traded him to Phoenix for Zaire Smith, who has played, I believe, 10 career NBA games. So another absolute masterclass in wheeling and dealing by the Philadelphia 76ers front office.
Some of the best.
Oh, my God. Truly, truly abysmal. I had Sexton going here, 10.
Okay.
That's where I had Sexton.
Who do you have 11? This is where it gets really weird for me.
Yeah, this is like my Kuzma pick. I hate it, but he's accomplished too much at this point. I'm going to go DeAndre Ayton.
That's exactly who I picked at 11 as well.
Oh.
And it just makes sense he goes to Charlotte. It just makes sense.
Imagine if DeAndre Ayton learned that he was 7 feet tall and can dunk the basketball.
It'd be awesome.
He'd be 27 points per game. He just the funny thing is when you look at like the mid-range and, kind of not layups, but like floater range shots, he's got unbelievable touch for a big man, for a guy of his size to be able to hit as many floaters and hook shots and mid-range jump shots that he can. It's unreal. He just pairs that with a complete and total lack of desire to ever score around the basket.
Yeah.
It's like, layups, dunks, no thanks. I know I'm 7 foot, 240 pounds, incredibly strong, great athlete. I'll just take this jump shot instead. Just a really frustrating player. And even as I say all that, he's still decent. Like, he's still okay.
He's still decent, yeah.
He's an average to slightly below average NBA starting center, which is crazy. There's another guy that I wanted to put above him. I just couldn't do it. just out of like sheer accomplishments at this point. But you're right about Charlotte being a perfect spot for DeAndre Ayton. If there's any player in the NBA that screams Charlotte Hornet, that player is DeAndre Ayton.
Next pick, Miles Bridges, which is where he went in the draft. He stays. That's all I got to say. Thank you very much.
I have him as a dishonorable mention, actually.
Yeah, I didn't want to put him in, but
so remember the year before he was, he got suspended for doing terrible stuff. He was actually really good.
No, I know that's the problem.
And then when he
Wendell Carter.
And then when he
he's
came
worse as a person,
Yeah, but then when he came back, he was not nearly as good. And since it's kind of like a Deshaun Watson situation almost. He just hasn't been as good since coming back. Like when you do evil things, maybe the universe puts a hex on you.
You can't ball anymore when you're evil.
Yeah. Is that the worst thing for the world? Is that the worst thing for the world? So I had him as a dishonorable mention. Okay. So where you have him at 12, they actually didn't take him at 12. The Clippers took Shea at 12, and they took him at 13.
Oh, I flipped it.
Yeah, okay, they got flipped. So I had 12 Dante DiVincenzo. Okay. So that's where I had DiVincenzo going. But what you said earlier, if we're talking about looking forward, I mean, the guy hit 11 3-pointers in a playoff game. Unreal. Yeah. Unreal. Yeah. He might be...
And he's Italian. He knows he's working class. Come on. Yeah. No, I completely agree.
So at 13, this was the Miles Bridges pick. This is a weird one because we forget he's really good. I'm going Time Lord, baby. Robert Williams.
I couldn't pick my man Time Lord. He got an honorable mention from me as well. The injuries, man.
It's too bad.
The Time Lord experience is one that is so painful. It's just hard to be a part of. Listen.
It's painful for him, too.
No one loves him more than me, but I couldn't put him on my redraft. The two guys I took ahead of him, trust me, I'm not happy about either of these guys. But
I cannot believe evil-ass Brad Stevens knew whatever ligament in his knee was hurt was on like literally its last strand, and then within 2 weeks at the start of the season for Portland, he's done.
Yep. Yeah, he's an evil genius. Love you, Time Lord. It's the right pick. It's just,
maybe he'll go to a contender. Maybe, because Portland sure as hell isn't going to be any good this year. Maybe he'll be somewhat healthy and they'll trade him to a good team and we could see him play meaningful basketball again. I'd like to see that. Yeah. I'd like to see that.
That's fair. 14th pick, last pick of our redraft. Our favorite guy from season 3. I hate that I did this. I took Kevin Huerter. So I had Anthony Simons going 13, Kevin Huerter 14, Time Lord 15, Wendell Carter Jr. 16. But I like Kevin Huerter. He can be good. He also can be horrible. I think Kevin Huerter Jr.'s had a steady career. Yeah. And I think the DiVincenzo, Sexton, Grayson Allen, Simons, Huerter, it's like deli meat. You know what I mean? You get in line, you pull the thing. They're all kind of close. I think DiVincenzo's the best of that bunch. But Huerter can play good basketball. I don't know. I'm not really happy about it.
He regressed last year. He definitely wasn't nearly as good as he was year one with Sacramento. He was right off my list. And then I also had Grayson Allen. I had Gary Trent Jr.
Oh, Gary Trent Jr. I forgot about him.
I had Mitchell Robinson. He's like a lesser version of Robert Williams.
I really wanted to put Mitchell Robinson 14th with Denver, and I was like, wow, I really just put Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein on the same
with
team.
Nikola Jokic.
Hartenstein got dealt, so it wouldn't have mattered in my alternate universe. But
so the thing is though, Mitchell Robinson, did you see the report? Like he's not going to be ready for several months. The Knicks don't fans, have a center.
Good luck. It's not going to be pretty.
Have you seen the jokes on Twitter that, okay, Josh Hart, get ready to learn your PJ Tucker 6'5" center, buddy, because the Knicks let Hartenstein walk, and it was a risky position going into this year with Mitchell Robinson as your starting center, a guy who was hurt last year and is essentially hurt every year. Yeah. Maybe if he's healthy, you call up Portland and say, hey, Robert Williams, why don't you come on over here?
Randall doesn't want to do that shit. Like he doesn't want to be the big, but he is going to be the big. And teams with normal bigs are probably going to eat the Knicks alive for the first half of the year.
I would say maybe they could call up Portland and get DeAndre Ayton, but how long of playing for Tom Thibodeau do you think it would take DeAndre Ayton to quit the game of basketball?
2 weeks.
Yeah, he couldn't last.
No.
You want me to do what? When he tells him, "Hey, how about you dunk the basketball?"
Whoa! Take it easy now. Whoa!
That's not in my contract, buddy.
Yeah, take it easy now.
Also,
Good
shout
redraft.
out
Oh, well, you got. I'm sorry. Yeah, one more.
Jared Vanderbilt, Javon Carter.
I knew you'd do this.
Javon Carter. I said Grayson Allen, DeAnthony Melton. This
All right,
looked like some solid lower level role player. And
What are
then
we
my
taking-
boy,
Who?
my boy, my boy, Mo Wagner.
What are we just like taking attendance at this point? What is this? We're just naming names now. Real quick re-go through. I had Luka 1, as did you. Shea 2, as did you. Brunson 3, as did you. Trae Young 4, as did you. Jaren Jackson Jr. 5th, as did you. Mikal Bridges 6th. This is now where things get weird.
Yeah.
I had DiVincenzo. You had?
I had Michael Porter Jr.
I had Sexton. You had?
Simons.
I had Porter Jr. You had Sexton?
No, at 9.
Yeah.
No, that's right. Carter Jr. Wendell Carter.
Oh, Carter Jr. I thought he said Porter Jr. Excuse me. I had Grayson Allen 10.
That's right, Sexton.
DeAndre Ayton at 11, as did you. I had Miles Bridges at 12. You had
DiVincenzo.
I had Anthony Simons 13th.
Oh, wait, I guess I never told you who I did 14th, because 13th I had Time Lord.
Yeah, but then I went 14. Who'd you end with? 14 for me was Herter. Who was your last pick?
I had Bruce Brown, actually.
Oh, Bruce Brown. Yeah, he was an honorable mention. I just fear that he might be a splash in the pan. I don't know. So worry about our guy, Bruce. But yeah, that's a champion. Also, I got so much hate on TikTok last week for suggesting the role players had a huge thing to do with Denver winning the championship.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know they don't win the championship without Jokic and Murray, but you had Jokic and Murray this year, and look where it got you. You need role players to step up to win championships, folks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And the thing is like, Jokic and Murray kind of struggled this year, but maybe there would be a less burden on them if their role players were playing well, and they wouldn't have to take as difficult shots, and Jokic wouldn't have to hoist up as many 3-pointers as he did if he had any confidence in his teammates.
I know I'm right.
You're right. Don't let the haters and losers get you down.
No, listen, I love the haters. I love the losers.
Some would say we're some of them.
Exactly. Good redraft, buddy. Really good.